Today I will be talking about fatty liver. Okay, what is fatty liver? Now just see this. Today India is suffering from a disease called as influenza. Now the three main risk factors, students, for this is increased calories, that is glycemic load is more. Due to urbanization, your food habits have changed, your physical activity has decreased. So you could see on the left hand side a lady carrying a load of something over her head and walking, and you see these children also playing in the field. And when you see in the plantain leaf, it has got a very balanced diet. Whereas now, due to urbanization, today on the right hand side you see this, even this Purohit has a belly, a big fat belly, and yes, the children are like couch potatoes. They are always in front of the TV or playing something in front of the computer, etc. Food habits have drastically changed, and this has led to a disease called as influenza. Okay, now after I take a class on fatty liver, you should be able to define what is fatty liver, what are the consequences of fatty liver, what are the causes for different types of fatty liver, how would you treat a patient with fatty liver, and what are lipotropic factors, and how do you define lipotropic factor. Now coming to the definition, students, what is fatty liver? It's nothing but excessive accumulation of triacylglycerol or triglyceride in the liver. Remember, the normal total lipid content in the liver is about 5%. When it exceeds this, it leads to a condition called as fatty liver. So, this excessive fat accumulation may lead to cirrhosis. Okay? Let us see the stages of development of fatty liver and finally how it leads to liver cirrhosis. Now, this is a normal liver cell. So here you could see in the cytosol how you could see some fat. The white color is nothing but fat droplets. So the size has increased, and you see here the nucleus is pushed to one side and everything is filled by fat droplets, and this could cause inflammatory changes, cell death, and finally fibrosis or cirrhosis of the liver. Is that clear? So these are the development of fatty liver and finally leading to liver. So you would see a normal liver in this manner. See this hepatomegaly, fat has accumulated. Finally it leads to what is called as cirrhotic liver. So this triacylglyceride accumulation occurs because of an imbalance between the rate of formation and rate of secretion as VLDL. You know what is VLDL? VLDL is nothing but very low density lipoprotein which transports endogenous triglyceride with some amount of cholesterol from the liver, from the liver to the extrahepatic tissue. So when there is an imbalance between the rate of synthesis of this triglyceride and rate of secretion as VLDL, what happens? It cannot be secreted, so it gets accumulated in the liver, leading to fatty liver. So due to this, what happens? So it could be excessive triglyceride synthesis. So the VLDL cannot handle this excessive triglyceride synthesis, or synthesis of triglyceride may be normal, but there may be decreased formation and secretion of VLDL. This would lead to fatty liver. So I repeat once again, triacylglycerol accumulation or triglyceride accumulation occurs because of imbalance between its rate of formation and rate of secretion as VLDL. So due to Why this problem? Why this imbalance? Either there's extra production of triacylglycerol in the liver, or the synthesis of triacylglycerol is in a normal phase, but the VLDL formation and secretion is decreased. Is that clear? Okay, so this imbalance could be either due to excessive triacylglycerol synthesis, or synthesis may be normal. With regards to triacylglycerol, there may be decreased amount of VLDL formation and secretion. Now, what could be the reason for this accumulation? One reason could be due to alcoholism. You know, alcohol will lead to increased triacylglycerol level. Why? Now, this is not ethyl alcohol or ethanol. When it is metabolized, you get what is called as acetaldehyde. Is that clear? And during this process, NAD is converted to NADH, H+. So, the level of NADH increases during alcohol metabolism. Now, this acetaldehyde later is converted to acetic acid. So, one of the cause for fatty liver is alcoholism. I'll tell you the reason why. It is basically concerned with alcohol metabolism. Now, if ethanol is converted to acetaldehyde and acetaldehyde is converted to acetic acid, during this the production of NADH, H+ increases. Remember that. The level of acetic acid also increases. Now, when there is increased acetic acid, students, that will lead to increased acetyl-CoA. Yes, and this increased acetyl-CoA can be utilized for the synthesis of fatty acid. The synthesis of starting material for synthesis of fatty acid we have seen is nothing but acetyl-CoA. So, what happens when fatty acid synthesis is increased? Naturally, there is increased fatty acid. One more point I showed you, that NADH to NAD ratio is increased. When this ratio is increased, what happens is beta oxidation and TCA cycle will decrease. So, when there is already NADH level increased, that will reduce beta oxidation and decrease TCA cycle. So, this acetyl-CoA cannot be metabolized in the TCA cycle. Yes. So, this extra acetyl-CoA, so naturally what happens? It goes into the synthesis of fatty acid. Naturally, when this increased level of fatty acid, your triacylglycerol synthesis also increases. The excess acetyl-CoA then goes into the synthesis of cholesterol. Level also increases in fatty liver. So, I repeat once again, during the metabolism of alcohol, there is increased quantity of NADH, right? And this NADH will convert oxaloacetate to malate. So, hence less amount of oxaloacetate is available for oxidation of acetyl-CoA through TCA cycle. So, this extra acetyl-CoA will be used to synthesize triacylglycerol and also for the synthesis of cholesterol. Naturally, this results in fatty liver. Did you understand? So, you have to remember the metabolism of alcohol. Ethyl alcohol gets converted to acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde gets converted to acetyl-CoA, isn't it so? Also, increased level of acetyl-CoA. During this metabolism, that is conversion of alcohol to acetaldehyde, what happens is the NADH concentration increases. So, when this NADH level increases, that will convert oxaloacetate to malate. So, the availability of oxaloacetate for acetyl-CoA to be oxidized in the TCA cycle decreases. So, this extra acetyl-CoA is utilized for the synthesis of fatty acid in the liver. So, there will be increased fat in the liver leading to fatty liver. Is that clear? Now that could be one reason in alcoholism, or the other reason could be decreased VLDL secretion in alcoholism. What happens? I told you there will be increased cholesterol. This cholesterol will be esterified to cholesterol ester, and it will use PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acid, for its esterification. So what happens is the availability of this polyunsaturated fatty acid for formation of phospholipid is decreased. So naturally, when that is decreased, there will be decreased phospholipid formation, and when there is decreased phospholipid formation, the VLDL formation and secretion also is decreased. I repeat, I showed you in the earlier slide that in alcoholism, cholesterol level is increased. Now this free cholesterol will be esterified with a fatty acid, and usually esterification takes place with polyunsaturated fatty acid. So as it is going in for cholesterol esterification, the availability of PUFA for phospholipid formation will be decreased. So naturally decreased phospholipid formation is observed. So when this decreased phospholipid, the formation of VLDL also is decreased, because VLDL requires phospholipid for its formation. Is that clear? That is another reason. Another reason is, see, during alcoholism, so when they are drunk, there will be decreased availability of nutrients due to low food intake. They feel full because of the alcohol intake. So naturally protein synthesis also is decreased. So when proteins are not there, synthesis of very low density lipoprotein also is decreased. So this could be the reason. So it could be due to excessive triacylglycerol synthesis, excessive triglyceride synthesis, or it could be decreased VLDL secretion. I hope you have understood. You got to know why excessive. I told you why. That is, during metabolism of alcohol, it is converted to acetaldehyde and then to acetic acid, so naturally during this conversion to acetaldehyde, NADH level increases. Whenever NADH level increases, beta oxidation and TCA cycle decreases. So naturally what happens? The availability of free fatty acid is more. So naturally more of free fatty acid is converted to triacylglycerol. Or it could be decreased cholesterol secretion. I told you the reason why. Now this acetaldehyde may also get combined with protein to form what is called as protein acetaldehyde adduct. So I told you in alcoholism there is formation of acetaldehyde. This will combine with the protein and it will form protein acetaldehyde adduct. And this will impair the microtubular formation and hepatic protein trafficking. So it will cause impairment of microtubular formation and the hepatic protein trafficking. So naturally there will be impaired secretory LDL. Alcohol, not only that, students, by itself it may inhibit protein synthesis and glycosylation of apolipoprotein. And also during this, due to hepatic damage, there may be ROS mediated hepatic damage may be also seen. So all these are the reason why in alcoholism you would find fat. So this is alcoholic. So all this time I told you alcoholic fatty liver. Now there is another condition called as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It is called as NAFLD or NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It is seen in those people who are not taking alcohol, that is less than 20 ml per week. Okay, so they are called as, some of them, now this NAFLD as such is not that dangerous, but they may progress to what is called as NASH. NASH is nothing but non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Okay, and later after the development of NASH, they may go into the cirrhosis of liver, and 5% of such patient go into hepatic carcinoma. Okay. So what are the causes? Again, causes for it is excessive triacylglycerol formation. Why excessive? It could be due to starvation, one reason, or you're taking more of calories, or obesity could be the reason, or insulin resistance, or diabetes mellitus type 2. All these are reasons for excessive triglyceride formation. Not alcohol, you're starving for a long time, excessive calorie intake, obesity, insulin resistance, and diabetes mellitus type. Why in starvation you would find fatty liver? Starvation, there is increased lipolysis. Naturally, when there's increased lipolysis, what happens to your plasma free fatty acid concentration? It increases. So naturally, more of fatty acid in the liver, leading to more formation of triacylglyceride in the liver, called as fatty liver. When it exceeds more than 5%, it is called as fatty liver. So this is not due to alcohol during starvation. So in starvation, there is increased lipolysis, increased plasma free fatty acid, increased fatty acid influx into the liver, so increased synthesis of triacylglycerol. Or when you are taking excess of calorie, and that will lead to obesity, and then obesity will lead to what is called as insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes mellitus. Okay, and that when there is insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes mellitus, what happens? Lipolysis increases, and once lipolysis increases, how the plasma free fatty acid and triacylglycerol formation also increases. Okay, so excessive calorie intake due to this excessive calorie intake may be high dietary fat, or even if you take lots of carbohydrate, that is we have seen so many patients, diabetic patients, they say they don't eat fatty food, but they don't eat rice, but they would have had at least 10 chapati. So there is naturally there is excess of carbohydrate, and remember, carbohydrates when excess, naturally it can be converted to fat. Okay, so these are consequences. So that is when causes for excess triacylglycerol formation. Now why this decreased VLDL secretion? One is you are not taking proper diet, that is dietary inadequacy. So your diet may be deficit of something called as lipotropic factors. Now what are these lipotropic factors? They are nothing but those factors which prevent fatty liver. Okay, they are called as lipotropic factors by promoting lipoprotein synthesis and secretion. So lipotropic factors are those factors which prevent fatty liver. How? By promoting lipoprotein synthesis and secretion. So they are used in the synthesis of either phospholipid or apolipoprotein, and example for these lipotropic factors are choline, methionine, glycine, betaine, essential fatty acids, right? So did you understand? So what are lipotropic factors? Lipotropic factors are those factors which inhibit the accumulation of fat in the liver. And how they do this? These factors are used for the synthesis of phospholipids or apolipoprotein. Okay, so naturally they are required for the synthesis of VLDL. So what are these examples for these lipotropic factors? Choline, methionine, glycine, betaine, essential fatty acid. Usually students, these are asked as MCQ and 3 markers. So lecithin, folic acid, vitamin B12, pantothenic acid, pyridoxal phosphate, proteins, all these are nothing but lipotropic factors. Okay, so remember in Kwashiorkor, fatty liver is a common feature. Now Sometimes they say excessive gonadotrophic acid and cholesterol also leads to fatty liver because these are anti-lipotropic factors. So this will inhibit lipotropic factor formation because this gonadotrophic acid will use SAM. SAM is nothing but a methyl donor, S-adenosine methionine. Okay, so this SAM will be used by gonadoacetate to form creatine. So the availability of methyl group for choline synthesis will be decreased. Phosphatidyl choline synthesis will be decreased. So when there is excess of gonadoacetic acid in your diet also would lead to fatty liver because they act as anti-lipotropic factor. In cholesterol, what happens? Cholesterol we saw. The essential fatty acids are used as cholesterol ester. So decreased availability for phospholipid synthesis. Okay. So decreased VLDL formation, ultimately increased triglyceride and cholesterol in the liver. Okay. So not only that, there may be inhibition of protein synthesis or inhibition of assembly and secretion of VLDL, and this could be called this inhibition of protein synthesis or assembly and secretion of VLDL is called as toxic fatty liver, and that is seen when you take drugs like puromycin. It inhibits protein synthesis. This is called as toxic fatty liver. So in toxic fatty liver, remember, there is inhibition of protein synthesis, secretion and assembly and secretion of VLDL, and this type of fatty liver is called as toxic fatty liver. And you see the example for this is puromycin, that will inhibit protein synthesis. Carbon tetrachloride, chloroform, organophosphorus compound, lead, arsenic, all these will damage the liver cells. Okay. So this carbon tetrachloride may inhibit protein synthesis, and assembly of VLDL also will be inhibited. Secretion of VLDL also will be inhibited. So vitamin E supplementation acts as a protective measure. Okay. This is called as toxic fatty liver. So toxic fatty liver, what happens in toxic fatty liver? There is inhibition of protein synthesis, assembly and secretion of VLDL. That could be due to puromycin, carbon tetrachloride, etc. So gave you ethionine. Here it replaces methionine in SAM. So decreased availability of adenine for ATP synthesis. Naturally that will lead to decreased protein synthesis. Okay, orotic acid. There are many such compound inhibition. Okay. So other causes for fatty liver are Wilson's disease, chronic hepatitis C. These are the other reasons for fatty liver. And in Indian childhood cirrhosis, I said Kwashiorkor is a very important, and in Kwashiorkor fatty liver is a very common finding. Jejunal ileal also leads to fatty liver. What is the treatment you give to the patient, students? One is initially when he comes with a high fatty liver, ask him to lose weight, ask him to increase his physical activity by exercise. If that does not help, then you put him on components like thiazolidine, this is insulin sensitivity. So once again, I just want to highlight what are lipotropic factors. Lipotropic factors are the compounds that prevent fatty liver by promoting lipoproteins and secretion. Examples, you have choline, methionine, glycine, essential fatty acid, betaine, lecithin, vitamin B12 and B6, pantothenic acid and protein. So this is all about what you should know about fatty liver. I will just highlight. So first we studied what is fatty liver. Excess accumulation of triacyl glycerol in the liver, that is called as fatty liver, and that how much? Normally it is 5% of the total weight of the liver. When it exceeds more than that, we call it as fatty liver, and that could be due to two reasons. Either due to either due to increased, it is an imbalance between production of triglyceride and secretion of VLDL, isn't it? So when there is an imbalance, so it could be due to increased excessive triglyceride synthesis, or it could be due to triglyceride synthesis is normal, but there is decreased VLDL formation and secretion. Yes, you saw that. Then I told you the various reasons. That is, one, in alcoholics, what happens? That is alcoholic fatty liver disease. That is called as ALD, alcoholic liver disease. And you have NAFL, that is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I told you the various reasons why there is fatty liver in each. I explained to you all. Then we went into what is called as lipotropic factors. Then I told you the mode of treatment. I also told you what is toxic fatty liver. In toxic fatty liver, remember, there is inhibition of protein synthesis, assembly and formation secretion of VLDL. Remember that. Okay. I gave you some examples like puromycin, carbon tetrachloride, etc. Okay. I hope you have understood. If you have not understood, you can approach me anytime.